This is the first episode of The High Ground where we're going to review things. Today we're going to review this right here, Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta. We'll review the
Yeah,
campaign mode when it becomes available to us in November because I will be pre-ordering Battlefront 2 now. I'm James Rosile. Thanks a lot for joining us. If you like this video, click the thumbs up and subscribe if you can. That helps us out a great deal. Then maybe we can get something like Skype and OBS to finally work. Today I am joined with Rob McDonald. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I will be pre-ordering my copy of Battlefront 2 as well. And in Best Buy here, we get free socks with them. So I'm very excited to have these free Star Wars socks.
Awesome. Free socks. I'm a little bit upset with Best Buy right now, so I might go somewhere else and I will not have the socks. But anyway, so the beta for this came out. If you pre-ordered it previously, you got it on a week ago on Wednesday, and then for everybody else, it went public on Friday. Some people were reporting that it took about 10 hours for it to download. For me, it took 2 hours after saying it would take 3. For you, it took, you said, about
Probably an hour and a half, something like that.
it was a 15 gigabyte download. It's a pretty massive file. I don't know when we get the game. It might take us a day before we're even able to play it after we get it. So that'll be interesting to see. But I, some people, Battlefront, the original one was a device. Either you loved it or you hated it. That's what I really thought. I absolutely loved Battlefront, the new one. It's funny because I always say I'm not a gamer. I'm a 10-minute gamer and whatnot. But the thing with that game is, it was online, and I had never played an online game, and I had no interest with playing against an 8-year-old kid who can strike me down because they spent the last 8 years playing first-person shooters. I didn't do that. I grew up playing Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, and Pac-Man type games. Like that's where I was. So I had no interest in that. And when Battlefront came out, you brought it over with your Xbox. You brought your entire Xbox and Battlefront, and we played it for a few hours, and I was really hooked on it. And then Aaron got me the PlayStation with Battlefront because I wanted the retro games, not because obviously I'm a retro gamer. That's what I enjoyed, and I got those games. I played those endlessly. But when we first played Battlefront, Aaron and I sat down and we played for over 4 hours the first time offline because I also didn't want to pay to play online. So I was like,
right,
stubborn. I'm like, no. We played 4 hours offline, which some people say you can't do, but we did it and we enjoyed it, and we actually did it again the next night. We played for 3 hours the following night. So that's where I am. Rob, were you a fan of the first Battlefront?
Yeah, so the way it came out for me was that I got the game, and then I was like, I would say probably for like about a week or two, I really did not like the games. I was like, oh, everything's so closed. Like, you don't have much things, like no campaign. Like it seemed like this game was very closed off, and like you couldn't do as much as I wanted it to. Especially for me, that I actually played the original Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 on Xbox when those ones came out, and those ones had way more stuff that you could do. They didn't have campaigns, I don't believe, but still, this one just felt more closed off in terms of the weapons and like characters and all that type of stuff and maps. But then just something happened where I think it also helps that like if you have friends that play this game, and the fact that you and Aaron were playing this game, and then our good off-screen friend Daryl also got into playing this game, that really helped a lot, I think, in terms of motivating to get into this game. And then like just enjoying the fact that you're playing Star Wars, you're playing as a stormtrooper running through Hoth, you're playing against the rebels, doing the fighter squad and stuff, which was one of my favorite actually game modes in that original one, because that was one of the game modes that was far superior than Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 2 and Xbox, just because I guess the mechanics of the controls, just they more mastered that at this point. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it at the beginning, but then afterwards I really like embraced the game, and then started enjoying everything. And it was funny that you mentioned all the offline stuff. I spent so much time doing those survival modes and like getting all the achievements for all that type of stuff. So yeah, I really wanted to be the completist in terms of that game and completing the game entirely.
From what we've seen in this beta for Battlefront 2, it doesn't look like the survival mode is there.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're going to get it, if that's something that they just don't show us. But I mean, it seems like they're showing us everything that's there. We just can't access it all. This is my first time ever doing a beta. I don't really know anything. But yeah, that's something that I'm going to miss because, like I said, Aaron and I spent 4 hours, and we literally just a week ago just beat Endor without dying. It takes us a while.
On the original Battlefront?
Yeah,
this is on the.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
funny.
Yeah, we play a lot. She's way better than I am, but we play. Yeah, so the Battlefront 2 beta came out, and I mentioned it to her. She goes, "Well, download it." So I downloaded it, and I said, "I'm gonna wait. You can get me this for Christmas." And then we started playing, and she goes, well, "We're not waiting for Christmas. Pre-order it." And that's how that happened. So anyway, we started playing Battlefront 2. Let's get right into Battlefront 2 now. The first thing I did was the multiplayer mode online, and then I turned that off. And then the next thing I did was I needed to play as Darth Maul. The Darth Maul game that I played was the arcade mode, and the first time I played it was co-op with Aaron, and Aaron actually got to be Darth Maul, and I was the battle droid, but whatever. And 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 the object is when you're playing solo is you have 20 seconds to kill 25 clone troopers.
Yeah.
I have succeeded more than I have failed. That makes me happy, but I'm still not very good. Have you played that mode?
Yeah, I played it yesterday as well, and yeah, it was cool. Just again, getting back into the heroes and whatnot, and just the fact that Darth Maul is pretty damn cool to begin with, right? That you're playing as Darth Maul. So yeah, it was kind of cool. Like yeah, I succeeded as well, but again, because this was a beta, it was only limited. It looks like there's like 3 levels to this and 3 star achievements for that level. So they just released the first star achievement. So
yeah.
That was on regular normal mode, and that's all. And then when the game expands completely, you can play the other ones, which I'm assuming will be much harder. So I look forward to that being a more challenging part, perhaps, of this game, unlocking all that stuff.
Oh yeah, it will be. Just for anybody that's watching this, apparently my internet's very bad, and there's a bar over my face saying internet connection problem. But you can all hear me, and that's all that really matters. But I absolutely love that. There will be more. One of them is 10 seconds. You have 10 seconds to do it. But when you do special moves, they add 3 seconds. So it usually takes me about, I'm not very good at it, but it usually takes me about a minute 20 to kill all 25 clone troopers. That's the
it was something like that as well. I was just over a minute for my time as well. So yeah, it was cool though. Regardless, just the fact that you're just there and cutting clone troopers in half, which again is a cool part of. He never interacted with clone troopers, so that's just another cool thing that you can have in this game.
It's just fun because the thing I like about it is canon doesn't matter, so they just do these things, and it's just a whole lot of fun, and they have fun with it. And you can tell that they're fans because I was playing. We'll go into multiplayer now, but I was playing the multiplayer again. It was clones versus droids, and Darth Maul shows up, and then Rey showed up, and Han Solo showed up, and Chewie showed up, and I was like, "All right, cool. This is awesome." Boba Fett's always there. The only thing with Boba Fett is I never know what side he's on because he's Boba Fett, and they're both kind of bad guys at one point. But Darth Maul's with the battle droids, which is awesome. It's a lot of fun. My one thing I will say in terms of the gameplay and whatnot is the multiplayer for me seems a little on the chaotic side. I've mentioned this to you as well. For me, it was a little bit on the chaotic side. And one of the things that I really, really noticed is when you shoot a gun with I like to use the heavy clone trooper. We'll go the heavy on the heavy option of the droid and the clone. But when I use some of the other ones, the blast it dispersed like this. If you can see me over the stupid graphic that's up, but so I can never tell if it's going. I know that we have like the aim icon, but I can never tell if I'm hitting my target because it just kind of like right away kind of just like goes like a firework, and that's one thing that I had issues with because I don't know because I like. A single bullet, I can watch it travel and then you see the guy hit. But with this one, it's going all over the place and there's no real reaction from who you're hitting. Whereas in the first Battlefront, you knew when you hit somebody. Do you know what I mean? And I think you can even feel it in the controller. Now, there's so much going on that there's other things happening in the controller. And it's that was the one thing that I noticed was, and I'm not very good, like I said, so it makes it harder for me to be good, is when you're shooting someone far away, am I hitting them? That was my thing. Rob, what were your thoughts on the multiplayer mode?
Yeah, so like just starting off there, like with the fact that this one's more unique into it, where it took a nod from the older games, where in like Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 1 for the original Xbox and PS2, they had classes as well. They had these assault classes, and I can't remember what all the ones in the original ones were called, but yeah, now they reintroduced this type of stuff. And again, yeah, heavy was one of my favorite ones too that I did. So it was like more or less like assault seemed to be like the regular type of like trooper. You just have like a regular gun. There's the heavy one that you get more heavy artillery, obviously. There was the specialist one that you have like sort of like a sniper rifle, and then I forget what the other one was called. It was regardless. It was basically like you were like the leader to like the army or whatnot, and you could throw down like turrets and whatnot. So that was the other option that you could do. And yeah, the specialist and heavy were the two ones that was mostly like. And it's funny how you mentioned like the chaotic side. Like pretty much in this beta, we only have the two maps. There's the Naboo map, and then there's Mascanata's Castle. And on the Naboo map, it literally just starts off, and then just shots are being fired because you're just pretty much in line, and then just everything is being shot at you. You don't know you can, if you're just standing there and you don't move, you'll die. You could die right away because that's just how it just starts. And the fact that map is so open that like you can't really guard behind you or to the side of you, and like the thing that adds on to being more chaotic was that I noticed some radar problems too, where sometimes it looks weird on the radar, where it seems like one person in front of you, and I'm running to that direction, and then all of a sudden it seems like the person behind you or something like that. Like you pass by them so quickly. Like there was no way to really do that unless you. The thing I noticed about the map was that if you have one of the special classes, like if somebody takes up like the super battle droid on the droid army, or if somebody's the hero, they just appear as a circle, so you know exactly where they are. So, yeah, it was interesting. I do think they have some kinks to work out, including the radar issues, and I did freeze in game at least twice yesterday as well when I was playing it. So, yeah, there's some kinks to bring up, but as more maps open up, I hope that the problems will dissipate as opposed to get greater. But who knows?
One of the first times Erin played, she actually was running. I think it was one time she was Darth Maul. She was running around and just got stuck, and just was like, didn't.
Oh, really?
She could turn, but she couldn't jump, and she was in the middle of the palace on the boot. Like she was just in the middle. She wasn't like stuck behind anything. She couldn't jump. She couldn't walk, but she could turn from side to side. So we had to respawn. The respawn option was used a few times for me.
Yeah,
I was playing.
One of the times I was doing it.
When I was playing with you last night, I was going after somebody on my radar, and then somebody was right behind me shooting me and was not on my radar whatsoever, which was the most annoying way to die because you never showed up on my radar once. That was frustrating.
Yeah, it was one of the times that I got trapped and I couldn't move. Was where that little trap? I forget what it's called. The one that when you walk over top of it, it electrocutes you, and then you have to press the square button to get out.
No, so I've never
no?
Had that.
Okay.
No.
It was that type of trap where it was just like they had it in Battlefront from 2 years ago, not the original one, but that was one of the upgraded ones that you had to do through Jabba's little missions or whatnot. But yeah, it was one of those traps, and then I got electrocuted, and you just had to press X a few times to get out, and then I got out, but I couldn't move. I was just stuck there, and I was just looking around, and there was nobody around me to kill me, and I was just stuck, so I had to use that respawn option. So, yeah, it's funny the way it is. And in terms of like playing as the heroes, I've only gotten to play as Rey once within the actual like battle modes, and yeah, it was kind of cool. But it seems like also with the heroes, like they have fewer moves that they can do. Like when I was just looking at the icon list, it seemed like I think there was 4 moves that you could do in Battlefront from before, and now you mentioned this, that they've eliminated this triangle option for regular troopers and for the heroes. So yeah, it's a little bit of a shame.
That really threw me off because I was so used to the controls from the last one. They more or less are the same, but there was one that I had no idea because usually I use up the triangle option is my shield, and you told me the shield is the R1 option now. At least this is on the PlayStation, guys. So I don't know if it's the same on Xbox. I assume it's extremely similar. So the triangle's the top, but you guys know. If you're watching this, I'm sure you know controllers. But that's what so that was. It's a little bit of a learning curve. But, it's a beta also. Like you said, it's a beta. Those are little things that can work out. The heroes, maybe there's something later on that you can get. Because the other thing we noticed was there's no blue orb things to pick up throughout the gameplay anymore. right? So we're not picking those up. Instead, it looks like you have to obtain points, battle points or whatnot, and then you can become certain things. It seems like that's the way they're doing it on this one.
Yeah, but I really miss that option though, because like it just helped with just randomly having an item, or it could help you to accomplish a task, like where you could just pick up a random item and it turns out being a rocket launcher. And it's like, oh my god, perfect. You go and take out a ATST or whatever you need to take out with that item. So
but you said, because I'm so bad at video games, but you said, but the MTT on Naboo, the battle droid ship, there are things to pick up to take that ship out.
Yeah, but even with that game mode, it wasn't to take it out. It was literally just so you could attack it. So it was kind of like a disruptor where I don't think it causes any damage when you hit it with that disruptor, the ion disruptor. It just basically seemingly puts down the shield so everybody can shoot it now. Like you can just shoot your regular gun at it and cause damage. Because otherwise, if you don't shoot that iron disruptor, I believe it does not cause any damage.
No, it doesn't, because I was shooting it for a good 5 minutes and then I died and my score didn't move. So it was telling me that I wasn't hitting anything. It wasn't like I said. I said yesterday on one of the shows we did yesterday. I can't remember if it was the poster or the trailer. My best kill streak is 6, which I was very happy with. And then today I went online like, go this 15 kill streak, and I was like, well, thanks for making me feel significant in every way.
Yeah, but those are those crazy 8-year-olds that we were talking about, right? The ones that play Call of Duty.
They're the ones that when I first got Overwatch, because I actually really like Overwatch, and which reminds me a lot of Battlefront actually. And I was playing Overwatch, and I didn't. Because the thing I like about Battlefront Online was I don't, if you're online, I'm online, but we don't tell each other we're online. I don't have to hear you talk, and we don't have to pay attention to each other. But Overwatch was set up that I could hear people talk. Yep. And so I'm playing it. I'm extremely bad at Overwatch. I'm even worse at Overwatch than I am at Battlefront. And I'm playing it. This is like Christmas last year, and I'm sucking. And all of a sudden, through the speakers on my TV, I hear this like 5-year-old. Guys, why are you being so bad? Let's kill him. Let's go. I'm not even joking. I'm like 5 to 10. There's no way they were older than that. And I was like, "What's happening? What's happening?" I was able to mute them because I can't take it. I'm not good. You can quit my team if you want. But that's one thing I do like about Battlefront is I don't have to, or even set it to like I had to turn it off. I don't have to do any of that. It knows I don't want to hear you.
It's one of the reasons I stopped playing Call of Duty, because I remembered I would pick it up sometimes after not playing for a little while, and then I'd go into a random multiplayer thing, and it's like that where you just hear people talking all the time, and as soon as I get killed, I hear this little high pitched kid saying like, "Oh, you just got pwned, buddy," or something like that, and just like it's mother comments and all that type of stuff, and I'm just like, "Oh, what is going on here with this world?"
No room for that for me. Yeah. It's way too old to get into that, but I do have fun. I had fun playing with you and Darren and whoever else I played with. Let's talk about the, like I mentioned last night when we were playing, the attention to detail that this game has. When you first start off on Naboo and you're a droid, you see all the clones that the droids have captured, and they're all kneeling down. And you could see, the smoke and the engines revving on their ships, the MTTs going, and you could see it. And when you walk through, you can feel the vibrations of it. The leaves are blowing. You see the Naboo people scattering about at the very beginning. It's and the voices, the battle droids that got perfect, the clones that got perfect, and you just sit there and you're like, I am in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's even they have the one part of the ship that you can actually see too, where they would unleash the actual battle droids. Yeah. So like they're just set up over there in their little crouch position, like ready to be opened up. So that's awesome too. And the fact that you're mentioning the voices too, it's not like they're just using the regular like battle droid voices that like the Clone Wars adapted and the later moons. I still remember. In Phantom Menace, there's the one battle droid voice that says when they're approaching the Gungans, and he goes, "Open fire," and it's like a more deeper voice. They even have that voice type of character in this game. So it's really cool, the attention to detail, like you mentioned, like the fact that when you're going into like Maz Kanata's castle, there's literally like the little cups and all that type of stuff. Like it literally looks like the scene from Force Awakens. So I look forward to seeing what other really cool attention detail there is on these other maps.
Yeah, I've only played Takadona actually a few times, because every time I play it, it happens to be Naboo, and you play it a few times before they switch over, and usually I'm a 10-minute gamer, and usually I'm like, okay, break time. Let's go watch Monday Night Football for the trailer or what have you. And then when I go back on, it's Naboo again. So, but I don't complain because, as everybody that watches Rebel Scum podcast, you all know I am. That's one of my favorites. Is I love the Phantom Menace. I love Naboo, and I love Darth Maul. And I love that environment. So I have no issue. And I've been to that building in Italy that they shot in. So it's funny when you run around. I'm like, oh, I've been here. I've been there. Yeah, I went there over 10 years ago now. 13, 14 years, a long time ago. It's been a long time. It's probably completely different now. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm running around like, oh yeah, I remember that. There's where the bathroom is. I know it's not that similar, but it was because it was a lot of fun. I have not played any of in the multiplayer. That game I have played in ships. I've been a few fighters and a Viper droid ship, but I have not played the other game mode where you fly around and pose X-wing. So I need you to tell me and tell everybody else about this game mode because here's the thing: I'm not as bad as I am on the ground. I am worse in the air. I'm so bad. Where if I get frustrated to the point where I don't do anything and everybody around me is doing something, and I haven't played this one, so I can't comment on this. But in the original Battlefront, it got to the point where it stopped being fun for me sometimes, where I'm like, I just don't want to do this. But anyway, Rob, talk to me.
Yeah, you're not the only one in terms of like the controls for the last year, 2 years ago Battlefront in terms of the fighter squadron, because it can sometimes be like you need a moment to do it, and this one could be even worse for those types of people. If you lost control in the first game in fighter squadron, this one's gonna be even worse, because the way I noticed right away was that you have your left joystick and your right joystick. And if you move your left joystick too much, you're going to go into like a tailspin. It's so easy to go upside down and like lose control of your my vehicle. I can't even imagine how many times I crash into a Star Destroyer already. Just playing this when I first started out, I'd be going around and then I just crash right into it. Like I played as the Slave One, and I was trying to kill somebody and he was trying to get away from me, and then I crashed into a Star Destroyer before I could even kill anybody. So it's more of a learning curve than the other one. And so far, like if in the Battlefront from 2 years ago, you'd be able to use the D-pad to like maneuver your aircraft. Like it does it automatically for you. I think it was up. If you press up on the D-pad, you'd actually turn around on its own, and then if you went right or left, then it would do like a maneuver to the right or to the left. Right? It was a good way to get away from ion torpedoes. In this one, it's all manual. You all do it yourself, and you just have sole control of the X-wing or the TIE fighter. So if somebody's chasing you, you got to get off your tail, or somebody's got to help you out and take this guy out. The added thing that's really cool and I enjoyed about this was that when you're actually in like shooting at somebody, they actually have this marker where it shows you where you should be shooting if you want to be hitting him. So it's like if there's a ship flying this way, then your marker will be just ahead of it over here and showing you that spot that you can take out the ship. So it's actually the shooting is actually better. So you're actually for actually taking out the ships. So like it basically tells you where you should be shooting to take out the guys. So that's a cool part of it. And you mentioned the Poe X-wing part. That was the most fun I had, because it was the one point where with the hero ships, you have two different hero ships that you can do, and it's like you mentioned, where you get points and then you can unlock whatever you want to purchase, basically. So it was like for the Rebel side, they had the Millennium Falcon, which is actually the lower tiered one, and then Poe's is the higher tiered ship. And the Poe's being higher tiered ship, I was wondering, it's like, why is that the higher tiered ship? But as soon as I got into the Poe's X-wing, you could tell why it's the higher tiered ship, because I was flying around taking out TIE fighters like with two shots. Like I mentioned this in the one video where it was literally like the wide shot in Force Awakens, where you just see Poe flying around and taking out all the TIE fighters. That's more or less what I was doing. I got into like a 5 or 6 ship kill streak in a row just by playing as Poe's TIE fighter or Poe's X-wing. But it's a challenging aspect to it. But as soon as I got the hang of it, it became really cool, because then you could just be flying around and take out these guys. And the cool thing about it too is that you had the option immediately. You could play as an X-wing, you could play as an A-wing, or you could play as a Y-wing as well. So you just had the choices right off the bat, and it's cool because much like the actual like characters on the field. These ones have different functions as well. Like A-wing's a much faster ship. Y-wing had better artillery, so they're more or less the heavy version of a ship that you want to do, and then X-wing's just the regular like assault trooper, but what you'd be wanting to do. So, yeah, it's a cool function, but I don't know if I'd recommend it for you, James, if you're having troubles with the ships in the first
I'm
one.
terrible at flying. This one doesn't have like Battlefront had those other modes where you can go in and kind of practice flying around those the single player things. I don't know if this one's gonna have that or not. Like it's just beta, so we'll find.
This is this is one that they need that for.
Yeah,
They need a training session where you could learn how to fly these ships, because otherwise you're going to start off and, like I said, you'll crash into it in a starter strike or something.
well, there's a good chance that we will. There's a chance that that'll still be there because we don't know what we're gonna have and what we
Yeah.
won't have. Like we said, we can't play the campaign mode. When you click on campaign mode, it shows you the trailer for the campaign and a cutscene, which was kind of cool as well. You got to watch that, but I can't wait for the campaign mode. I'm not. I don't know. I was fine without the campaign mode in the other one. I might be. I'm in a minority. I can tell you that, but I was okay with it because I enjoyed the gameplay, especially when you played with friends. It was a lot of fun. I am looking forward to this game. The beta actually made me even more excited for it because with the exception of, like I said, the chaoticness of it, which it could be a couple of things. One, it is chaotic, or two, I'm just not comfortable with it yet. That's the other thing. Like maybe the beta ends on Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday I'll be like, oh, like I mean, I am more comfortable than I started, but there's still times I'm like, there's so much going on, and we haven't
Yeah.
seen the other planets and levels and whatnot. So who knows? But Naboo looked completely cool. The attention to detail, like we said, is up there. The flying stuff, I'll probably pass on for now. I'm going to play it eventually because if I pay money for the game, I'm going to play every option that I can on it.
Yeah.
But they have the old Blast game. It looks like they have a lot of the old stuff that I had a lot of fun with, and then
Heroes
and
versus
the new stuff.
villains.
Yeah, and the new stuff. And I was never huge on playing as a hero or a villain. I like being my stormtrooper more than a rebel, and I still like being a battle droid or clone trooper more than a resistance. But you like heroes versus villains, so I'll play that once in a while. Especially if I can beat Darth Maul now, then I'm all in.
There you go. No, yeah.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
give me your final thoughts on Battlefront.
Well, I was going to mention one more thing. I don't know if you saw this as well, but when I first started the beta mode, they actually had this video that they showed. It was a big introductory video, and it was a cool part that they just had this very specific to the beta video, and it was with John Boyega, and John Boyega was talking to them and just running down everything that you could do in the beta. So that was a cool part of it, and he ran down all the specifics in terms of the fighter squadron as well, because he mentioned how the attention to detail for how you're flying the ship. But, in general, I enjoy this beta. I'll probably, right after I'm getting off with you, we'll probably play a game or two before I have to leave again. But yeah, there's only a day left of this, so this is Tuesday right now. So you have until tomorrow to keep to trying the beta. It might take you 10 hours to download it, but I'd recommend it if you have a Xbox or a PS4. Just try it.
If you're a Star Wars fan, definitely check it out if you can. But Rob, also you should start watching the Rebel Scum podcast because we talked about that Boyega thing like 2 weeks ago. It's been on the internet for a while. Like I said, I'm completely excited for this. They have me sold. I love battle droids. I love clone troopers. I love stormtroopers. I love all that. I love Darth Maul. It's basically this game was made for me. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. You can follow me everywhere at Petsafina. You can beat my butt at Battlefront 2 on PS4 at Petsafina. And Rob, where can everybody find you at?
You can find me at Robert E. McDonald on both Twitter and Instagram, and download the app Stardust. Again, it's a cool reaction app. You can react to the trailer. You can't do video games yet, but maybe I want to try to talk to them. Maybe they can start putting a little reaction videos for video games. That might be kind of cool. And you can react to Star Wars Battlefront 2 at some point. And on there, you can follow me at Rob Mac. And for about PS4, if you are playing Battlefront, I'm at Nightwing, except the G is at 6 instead. So yeah, you can play against me on there and probably kick my butt if you're 8 years old.
I doubt it. Rob he's a ringer when it comes to first-person shooters. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. Can't wait to talk the campaign mode and the full game with you in November. But until then, may the force of others be with you.
Always.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.